Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shasivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannapadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Agajanana Padmarkam Gajanana Maharnisham Anekadam Tam Bhaktanam Ekadantam Upasmahe Nananandamayam Devam Nirmalaspatikakrutim Adharam Sarvavidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmahe Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fullara Vindayata Patranetra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purna Prajwalito Gnanamaya Pradipaha. So, we have been going with the sessions on Vidura Neeti, which happens to be a part of Mahabharata. And Vidura's advice was requisitioned by Dhritarashtra because Dhritarashtra's mind was completely disturbed because of the behavior of his own sons, more so Duryodhana and others. So he was highly disturbed. But one more great quality in him is that Dhritarashtra wants bhuti, aiswaryam, promotion, prosperity, health, and all that at the cost of giving the administration responsibility and everything handing over to his own son, who is never righteous, who never adheres dharma, who is highly selfish and all that. Therefore, when Vidura was asked to come and meet Dhritarashtra, and Vidura came and announced himself at the door, then Dhritarashtra said, "You are welcome, and why you wait? You are the one Rishi, like in the race of royal Rishis, and you are very much respected. You are respected wise person among all our royal race people. So I want you to tell." And moreover, he told that, "I don't know this what kind of message I am going to receive from Panduraja, that is Dharmaraja, and so I am worried." Then Vidura starts advising and explaining the reasons why that Dhritarashtra is in dismay, he is in lower mood, and he is not happy at all. Then Vidura started his speech from sloka number 16, which we have started in the last class, that he said that Raja Lakshana Sampannaha Trailokyasya Adhipo Bhavet. If he were to be a good king, he would be deserving to be a sovereign of the three worlds. But when you set aside that kind of dharma, then you will be suffering. And he is cautioning, Vidura is cautioning, even though you know the character of Dharmaraja and his brothers, you have taken the responsibility of sending Dharmaraja on exile for a long time. And also you have noted that Dharmaraja has possessed all qualities of being a Chakravarti, and but you never allowed him to take his share, although you have lost your sight. You cannot know anything about it. And also because of the Andru Samsyatat, Anukrosat, Dharma Satyat Parakramat, Gurutvat Tvayi Samprechya, Bahun Kleshan Tititshase. So, Yudhishthira is so great, although he has been given lot of troubles and absence of kindness and absence of niti and all that. He loved very much the truth and the energy. And so because of that power, Yudhishthira has borne all that or tolerated all that. Because I have covered all these slokas, I am just trying to refresh you because there is a gap and trying to remember what has been said. And again, Vidura indirectly chides Dhritarashtra in the sloka number 17 that Duryodhane Saubalecha Karne Dushasane Tatha Yetaihi Aishwaryamadhaya Katham Tam Dhutimichati. So now the entire Aishwaryam means the entire authority, power, responsibility, administration, and all powers, all of them have been vested upon Duryodhana, Shakuni, Karna, and Dushasana. These are the four people who captured all your vibhuti, all your Aishwaryam, and you are just a puppet in their hands. You have no independent scope to decide or to administer or anything like that. Therefore, he says in the sloka number 15, most important is Atma Gnanam Samarambha Titiksha Dharma Nityata Yam Arthan Apakarshanti Savai Pandita Uchyate. So from this sloka onwards, now Vidura is going to narrate who is a wise man. And that wisdom is a factor connected to buddhi. So when a buddhi is balanced and well oriented and well utilized, then he will be called Pandita because he will be intelligent. What is intelligence? Intelligence means able to see through the problems, able to find the solution for the problems, able to conduct properly and see that not only he will be comfortable and happier, also the dependent people. Therefore, he is now trying to explain what would be the good situation of the brain or mind, and that kind of wisdomful thinking, buddhi, is called as panditaha. So that's why we have got around a number of slokas from this sloka onwards. First of all, he says that Atma Gnanam, one has to know about himself, self-knowledge, because self is important. Our Upanishads describe that there is a Paramatma one and Dehatma one. Everybody has got Dehas, but in everybody's Deha, Paramatma is seated. But you have to recognize, improve that Dehatma and Paramatma, and that kind of inquiry and knowledge is called as the Atma Gnanam. And Samarambha, another one is that you should have exertion. You should never be lazy. And self-knowledge and exertion. Then another important is Dharma Nityata. You should be constantly engaged or carrying the rules of discipline of Dharma. And when these virtues do not go away from anybody, and there is a steadiness in these virtues, they will be really wise and will never suffer any kind of gloom. And in the 16th sloka, we have done up to 20, I believe. So I am trying to cover up to 20, and later on I make you recite these slokas. In the 16th sloka, page number 10, what book we have given you, there again Vidura continues saying, Nishevate prasastani ninditani nasevate anastikaha sraddhadhanaha etat pandita lakshanam. So Pandita Uchyate, he is called a wise man. Now, what are the characteristics or marks which will designate one to be a wise man? So then, Prasastani Nishevate, any person who adheres to the acts which are worthy of praise, worthy of conducting, worthy of gaining. And that kind of prasasta, you have to always look at the prasasta and aprasasta. You know, aprasasta is natural negativity. Prasastata is the positivity. We have in us more negativity. What is negativity? Fear. And that fear makes us gloomy and also in dismay. So that negativity, no, should be given up. And then it will be all prasastam, that which you are to be coveting. So what you covet most, logical and well, that kind of things you should try to adopt. Nishevate means to adopt. And ninditani nasevate, here you should not accept those things which are blamable faith and which cause you a lot of worry, and others will start criticizing. So that kind of thing, nindita it is. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, in Vishada Yoga, Arjuna tells in such a low mood, Arjuna proposes two things to Krishna. One is that I don't hold weapon in war. Let the Kauravas overpower me and kill me. That will be a better move than I kill all of them and I get the permanent residency in the Narkaloka, one thing. Then I don't want to fight. So for that, Krishna said, no, Babu, if you are a Maharatha, you are a Jayadratha, you are a Kiritan, you are a great warrior. So in all warriors, like Bhishma, Krupa, Drona, Swattama, and all people are there waiting like hungry wolves to jump upon the fight issue and war starting. At this juncture, you say you want to go away. Supposing you go away from the battleground, what would all those great acharyas and Maharathas, war heroes, war ranked people think about you? Don't show your cowardice. So to show cowardice is an nindita kriya. And as a Maharatha, Arjuna, you should not adopt nindita karma, meaning that you should not leave the war and go away with some fear of sin and all that. Therefore, that's ninditani nasevate. A worthy person will never will never accept what is not deserving to the stature of the personality. And again, one more thing is anastikaha sraddhadhanaha. So astika, anastika. That is, otherwise you have got to have no selfish interest in conducting your dharma duty. And you should be having the sraddha, faith in your action, belief in action, and sincerity in your action, conforming to dharma. So these are all some of the important characteristics that make any person a wise man. So the lakshanas are being enumerated. That's really interesting thing. In sloka, he says, Krodhaha, Harshaha, Darpaha, Hristambhaha, Manyamanita, Yamarthan Napakarshanti, Savai Pandita Uchyate. So Vidura is such a great scholar. He is also enumerating what is that which will make anybody not wise. What are those things which will just pull down the integrity of the person, the wisdom of the person, and bring him into a status of defame? First of all is kopam, krodhaha. And you know, the anger is the enemy. Sanakopam is sanakusatru. Your own anger, your first enemy. Then harsha, for small things, you feel so happy, elated, because they are all temporary. So harsha also means the temporary happiness. So you should not have that kind of joy for that. And again, then Hri Stambha. So you should have no pride at all. And you should not have false modesty. And you should not have superfaction. So you should have yamartha and also manya manita. See, that you should, whatever is to be respected, that you have got to respect. So that kind of recognition quality you should have. Those people who help you, you should acknowledge and remain grateful. Not become selfish and say that and explain your own vanity. So these are all the negativities. If they can draw you into a great difficulty in life. So as long as any person who is not drawn away by the krodha, by harsha, by darpa, by hri, shame, and also by revering the really respectable persons, then he will be called as a pandita. So to be a scholar, to be a pandita, there are many more disciplinary characteristics which in Vidura Neeti, Vidura is trying to point out to Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra entrusted all the responsibility upon these people. That is Duryodhana, Shakuni, Dushasana, and Karna, who have absence of all these positive qualities, or they are drawn away by the negativity. Now in the 18th sloka, he tries to tell that Yasya krutyam na jananti mantram va mantritam pare krutamevasya jananti savai pandita uchyate. So again, some more characteristics of a wise man are being pointed out here. See, one thing, Krityam Najananti, whose intended facts, proposed counsels remain concealed from their enemies, and whose acts become known only after they have been done. So he is considered wise. So you have to gaze the enemy more and more before you remain stubborn. For example, Ravana and Rama. See, that's what Vibhishana and all people advise Ravana in Ramayana, that you only think of yourself, but you don't consider what is the kind of strength, the amount of strength in Rama and Rama's side. Although kind of caution has been given to Ravana, he ignored, and therefore he is no more a wise person. So you should always expect from the enemy side also what would be the intended acts by them, what would be the kind of counsels in them concealed, and all that you should be able to know. Then only your plans you should not exhibit to others, to especially to the enemies. So Anjaneya is a wonderful envoy, and he has spied Lanka. He has got knowledge of Lanka and Lanka citizens and Lanka city town planning, etc. very, very ably, and therefore he was the past master of the Lanka. Then Hanuman is the wisest person. Like that here, in also a wise person will be like that, who has got this kind of thing. And in the 19th sloka, again, Yasya krutyam na vigranti, Sitam ushnam bhayam ratihi, samruddhihi asamruddhirva, savai pandita uchyate. This is exactly most important Vidura Neeti, which people outside India mostly do it, because the weather conditions will never be encouraging for you to work, for you to travel. And therefore, your projects and prospects will be hampered by the weather condition, by the fear, and by attachment to your own house and people. And so, what is advised? Krutyam Sitam Bushnam Bhayam Ratihi. So these are all the things which obstruct your proposed actions. That is Sitam, cold, Ushnam, heat, Bhayam, fear of attachment, and Ratihi, prosperity or adversity. So prosperity or adversity or whatever that comes to you, then you are called a Pandita. Other than that, the same thing is being differently explained by so many scholars. For example, Kalidasa. Kalidasa gives a beautiful definition of a dhira. So a dhira is one who cares his proposal to get executed in spite of oddities and difficulties. For example, he says, Vikara hetau sati na vikriyante esham hi chetamsi sayeva dhiraha. So a Pandita, a Dhira are equated here that although so many hurdles touch your pathway of movement, but you should not succumb to any one of them. That is, Karshana will be there. So which will be making you to get the proposals interrupted, disturbed, and annoyed. Therefore, a Pandita is that who will not care heat, cold, fear of attachment, prosperity, or adversity, and then he will be considered. So you should be able to tolerate the oddities which we make when we propose and when we execute something. So now onwards, I wish everybody will recite it once. 20th stanza I am coming to. Yasya samsarini prajna dharmarthau anuvartate kamadartham brunite yaha savai pandita uchyate. 21 sloka. Yatha shakti chikir shanti yatha shakti cha kurvate na kinchitu avmanyante pandita bharatarshabha. Now look at the meaning, because the Sanskrit words here have got a great meaning, and so much of knowledge is being signified in all these words. What are the things that once again make a person a pandit, a knowledgeable person, a wise man? One, samsarini prajna. Two, dharmartha anuvartanam. Three, kamadartham bruniteyaha. Savai pandita. There are these 3 points which have been given. Samsarini prajna means you should be able to get rid of the samsaric influences, emotions and sentiments when you are to execute an important proposal or decision. Normally, as Arjuna, in Arjuna's case, the samsarini prajna made him vishada, dipped in vishada. That samsarini, that judgment must be disassociated with the desire. Secondly, the second one is dharma artha anuvartanam prajna. So, dharma is the duty. Dharma is the virtue that one has to execute. And artha is the gain. So unless you have got gain, you cannot act. So that's why you should have dharmartham. So dharma artha, profits. So all people are profit-minded. And in other words, Kalidasa said it in a more simpler words, prayojana manuddisya namandopi pravartate. See, artha labha, without artha labha, even a dullard, a madman, would not entertain action. Therefore, both virtue and profit. Then another third point is artham kamat vrunite. See, kama is the desire, is the aspirations and expectations. That end should be given up. Then you will be called as a wise person. Yes, samsarini prajna, because we are all in the samsaram. So when we are in the samsaram, samsara means the life is very much attractive, and there are several things which make you get attached, and whatever plans and projects and proposals and progress you want to make, that will not be properly possible. So samsarini prajna. That's why in Lalita Sahasranamam, Thayagriva tells to Agastya a most important compliment of Devi, saying that samsara panka nirmagna samuddarana pandita. You observe the word pandita is an attribute to Devi Lalita. Here also in Vidura Neeti, Vidura is also talking about the action of a pandita. So when he says that samsarini prajna means samsarini prajna is, according to Hayagriva, is a panka. Panka means dirt, not clean water. But if you do not stop with that panka, but start working out your proposals, then you will see the lotus of life. But that's why one has to get rid of the samsarini prajna. And you always consider the execution of your dharma. And also, if you do that dharma, then you will be able to get some profit. So dharma, artha, and in even Vishnu Sahasranam also, the same thing has been pointed out to us. For example, why you think of reciting the names of Vishnu? Because Shantyarthe vinayujyate. When you start reciting the names of Lord Vishnu, it is adding for the Shanti. And, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. These are all the four things. And here, Pandita is he who pays primary attention for Dharma, Artha, Kamas. And when once you care to these Dharma, Artha, Kamas, and when you are considered as a Pandita, automatically moksha is reserved for you. Moksha Purushartha is a follow-up when these three Purusharthas are appropriately cared. Therefore, Kamadartham Runite Yaha Saha Vai Pandita. And now in 21st sloka, you observe again Pandit Pap. What is Pandityam? What is the wise Buddhi? How you can teach Buddhi what it should be like, because Buddhi also will be dropping down. That's why in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna has told us, so Mayarpita Mano Buddhihi Kuru Karma. He said, your Manasu Buddhi are the two factors which are yours own. And that yours own factors have got to be disciplined, and up to the extent of submitting them to my feet. Because I have taken the responsibility of those two, and you will be the action maker, and I will be the guidance there. So in that spree, you find here the same. So yatha shakti chikirshanti, yatha shakti chakurvate, nahi kinchid avamanyate panditaha Bharat. This is the most important. This is the most important suggestion given by Vidura. Says that he uses the word yatha shakti. He says that you don't supersede your capacities. Within your availability of funds, within the availability of circumstances, if you are able to exert, then it will be really rewarding. That's why yatha shakti chikirshanti and yatha shakti cha kurvate. This yatha shakti is a wonderful option given to everybody. And nakinchid avamanyate. And you, moreover, nothing you should disregard, everything you should care. And therefore, he said that you must exert to the best of your ability, your strength, and best of your stability, and see that you are able to achieve the end of it. And here you observe, like Krishna calling Arjuna in Gita, here also Vidura addresses Dhritarashtra with the compliment Bharatarshabha. So among those born in the Bharat family, and Dhritarashtra is also a Srestha Purusha. Therefore, he is called Bharatarshabha. When he said Bharatarshabha, it is indicated that Dhritarashtra must care the Vamsha Maryada, or Desha Maryada, to which he is the ruler. So he cannot simply give away all that to these poor people, and whatever sad consequences happen, keep on remorsing or being remorseful. That is never encouraged, and that is not the wise decision or wise experience. So ultimately, Vidura is telling yatha shakti. 2 times is yatha shakti chikirshana and karta kurvate, action and proposal. These are the 2, exertion and execution. You remember? So exertion and execution both must be up to the brim of the capacity of the individual. And then if that is executed, so he will be called as a wise person. Then next verse tells you, I hope you understood this, yatha shakti, and what are the verbs here used? Chikirshanam and karanam. So chikirshanam and karanam, if at all it is done, there is nothing to be avamana, nothing to be insignificant or disregarded the same. And now I'm going to the next 22nd stanza, where again the characteristics are enumerated by Vidura, which will qualify a person, an individual, to be a pandita. Chipram vijanati, chiram srunoti, vignayachartham bhajate nakamatu, nasam prushto vyopayunte pararthe, tat pragnanam prathamam panditasya. So almost Vidura Neeti is also in the model of Bhagavad Gita or Vishnu Sahasranama or any such kind of instructional texts or lyrics. So it is said in Vedantin, Sankara and others say that Pragnana Ghanam Brahma. Pragnanam Brahma. So fanny. So fan is saying. So Pragnanam Brahma is the most important Vedantic Mahavakyam. And this Mahavakyam is explained by Vidura once again by saying that Pragnanam Brahma. And that Pragnanavan is called a Pandita. Anybody who has got a Pragnanam. That's why Gnanam, Pragnanam, Vignanam, etc. There are all the different standards and levels in the course of knowledge. And moreover, Pragnana Ghanam Brahma is Upanishad. Ghanam means solidified. All Pragnanam, knowledge and application, when it appears in the form of a solidified way, then it is called like that. And now let's know the first three lines, which is Pragnanam, which he has been trying to explain. So, what is that? Chipram vijanati. He will be able to, that is intelligence. He will be able to see through the problem or difficulty or the implications of an action. It is called Chipram vijanati. And again, Chiram srunoti. More than you talk, make your ears to listen. That's why they say lending the ears to others. So please lend your ears. That is the English way of putting it. If in Telugu, so Chiram srunoti, you have to listen to that. And Artham Vignayacha, you have to Artham Vignaya. You should not simply nod for things, but you should try to understand the communication involved in your things. That's exactly what is called Pragnanam. Praseshena Gnanam Pragnanam. That which is superior knowledge. What is the superior knowledge? Knowledge is Vidya, and Vidyavan is Pandita. So Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam. What kind of vidya you must pick up? Adhyatma vidya, the knowledge, self-knowledge. Then that's one, prajnaya chartham. And if at all he resorts to that, na kamat bhajate, you should not have any purpose or desire when you afford that. So you should be free-minded fellow. So desire should not be there in your judgment of things. And finally, he says that na kamat bhajate artham bhajate and na asamprishtaha vyupayukte pararthe. So vyupayukte means pararthe upayukte. Whatever you do, it should be beneficial to the required people. And the desire and spending the same and on the affairs of others. So you should also imagine the affairs of others and try to help them. And that would be the foremost wisdom. And that's what is called as Panditasya Prathamam Prajnanam. So either two, Vidura has spoken about the Pandita Lakshanas and Pandita's requirements. Now he talks about the Prajnanam of Panditas. And in the 23rd sloka, you observe, you mentally recite, na prapyam abhivanchanti nashtam nechanti sochitum apatsucha namuhyanti naraha pandita buddhaya. So in the 22 sloka, he talked about the Vijnanam, Prajnanam. Now he talks about the men who have got the mind filled full with wisdom. So called as Pandita Buddhaya. People are doing what they think is best for them. So yes, yeah. Okay, they suffer. See, na aprapya abhivanchanti. You should not covet at those which are unattainable. Objects which are unattainable. And also, nashtam sochitum nechanti. Supposing you lose it, you should not feel sad. That's why don't grieve when you lost and gone. And again, apatsucha namuhyanti. People do not lose their temper, lose their spirits, even when there are calamities striking them. In between the calamities only, you should be able to do it. That's why apatsu is a calamity, impediment, difficulty, and side attractions. And moha is one thing, infatuation, passionately attached to that. They are called human beings with Pandita Buddhi. See, Naraha means open for knowledge. And that Naraha, Pandita Buddhaya, they must have the Buddhi. Not Manas only, but Buddhi. Because Buddhi controls the mind. Then he will be a wise person. If the mind controls the Buddhi, then he will be on the platform. Therefore, Buddhayaha Naraha Panditaha. Finally, Nischitya Yaha, any doubts you can ask. Nischitya Yaha Prakramate Nantarvasati Karmanaha Avandhya Kalo Vasyatma Savai Pandita Uchyate. So we have got Bhartrihari Subhashitas. Then Bhartari also gives the same that Nischayartham vadaru nipunamatulu. Na nischayarthat viramante manishina. In Sanskrit, that Bhartari says, very wise people do not give up their determinations. So if they are determined to do certain thing, they will definitely execute it. And then they don't leave the work if they are take up until it is completed. Who never was and who has his soul under the control. So this sloka tells you that Vasyatma, Dehatma, Paramatma, etc. Vandhya, Avandhya. Vandhya is waste and Avandhya is fruitful. So those people who do not waste their time, those people who have their Atma or Sarira under their control, no laziness to be occupying their actions. They are independent, responsible, and appropriately acting with full approved decisions. They are all called Vasyatma Savai Pandita Uchyate. So in the series now, he keeps on telling the characteristics that qualify a wise man and a Prajnanavan. And when once is a Pandita, Prajnanavan, Pandita, Buddhiman, and so on, he will be heralded with success. And so control is important and he'll be called as a wise person. So today I stop here and will continue next session to my next class. So Om Tat Satu Sarvam Sri Krishnarpanamastu Sarvam Sri Matrucharana Ravindarpanamastu Om Tat Satu. Some guests have come, so I had to stop it a little early. And so we'll continue next session. And all these characteristics that qualify, that signify, that are endowed with a wise person are being enumerated. And that is a very interesting chapter, how to be wise, how to be getting laurels, etc. will come up here, and we have got solutions provided here.